Good afternoon. Welcome to Option Standards Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. So we're going to look at just real quick with the weekly. We're coming into some support here. Is the low end? That's possible, but I really feel like this is just something to fake us out. We dropped underneath a weekly time frame. We're kind of back testing here. So, I obviously nobody knows what's going to happen, but I think the most hurtful trade would be to dig in just a little bit lower going into the end of the week here, going later into the week. And we are in these cycle lows, as members know. So I want to get down to the 65 so we can show our game plan and get you ready for whatever happens next going into earnings and the data that's going to come out tomorrow. So you have NVIDIA Wednesday night, and then Thursday at the open, you have the different data that's coming out. So, can the market go lower into it and then we get our buy? That's a possibility. Or maybe we go just a little bit higher and then we fade with the news. So, okay, well, we're doing this intraday about 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to get these videos intraday, consider becoming a YouTube supporter. It's 99 cents, comes with the Discord and Cheddar data. We added Cheddar data on there so we get to see dark pool flow and options flow and dark pool prints, excuse me. And we did several videos in the last couple days for individual members as well. So that's a consideration. So let's jump into it. We have SPX on the weekly time frame. The only thing that I'm concerned about on this is the 20 simple moving average. Now, typically we hold on to it, we touch it, we spike through. You don't have to get to it. Look at this one. Just missed it. It doesn't have to, but know that the risk is there that we get to it and spike under and then bounce from the 20-week moving average. And this is our bull bear line, for confirmation on heading to bear market, a big trend to the downside on the weekly time frame. So that's what I want to show there. Let's go down to the daily. On to the daily, we have, again, a little bit of room here if we want to get to the 100. You don't have to get there, but that's the risk. Also, these lows were in that vicinity. So you see these spikes here, these tails. If you use the range, we're there. If you go to the bottom, still have a little bit more room left. So again, I just want that awareness. So what the risk is. So if you're going long, make sure you add on some put protection. We got some volatility ahead of us. All right, so here's the trend. The trend is down. Careful of that if you're going long. There's your moving averages. So McClellan and Oscillator. We're getting into that oversold territory, so I can understand why we get a bounce here, but this can certainly go lower. All right, and we'll be looking for divergences like we had on the last bounce as well. Here's your options tender look. We're getting to that oversold territory. So this move could be close to being done. It can stay in this weakness for quite some time. So we don't know, but it's more typical in this uptrend that you get the bounce off of this. So are we in a real downtrend? Well, we're starting it. We do have a low, a lower high, and a lower low. Not used to saying that. We're down to the zero line here, so that could provide a bounce. DMARC, 3 count, no setup here. Let's go to SPY. And if I put on the divergences, get that out of there. Okay, look in the divergences. Is there anything happening? Yes, we have distribution. There's no setup to go long. We're not all the way down at the other end. But I do think this full cycle, we could get that bounce and we could have had much lower and this finally cycled through. So far, this looks like a 3-wave move. So is, making higher highs available? Absolutely. We haven't even broken down from a major low here yet. So keep that in mind. Our Bollinger Band, we're at the bottom of the Bollinger Band, oversold. That's a buy signal. So again, if we do start to rise immediately off of here with this tail candle, then you'll be looking for probably a minimum this 20 day moving average, this exponential, the mid Bollinger Band here. Okay, the market can be sneaky. Right here. We got our bounce. It doesn't always do that, so just be careful. Nothing to see there. Let's go to VIX. And now this was our game plan. So this right here, we're back at support, by the way. This was our downtrend line. So that's why we started to go long. We have some swing trades long. And then, if the price does go lower, we could go back and test up there again. We can make a lower high here while SPX or SPY makes it makes a lower low. So be conscious of this. If price SPX starts to actually head lower, then look for this to reject one more time. Otherwise, if we start to break down from these levels, then that's obviously bullish for the market. And that's what we'll be looking for in the near term. We just don't know if we're going to get that one last move here, but we're coming into next week a daily cycle low. So we'll be looking for a VIX crush going into next week, as soon as maybe tomorrow. I don't know. Starting that move. But then in next week, we'll look for a new cycle to head higher. And with that said, we're probably not going to stay within this range anymore. All right. And there's your moving averages pushing off that 8. Momentum's up. We're above the 200. Trend is up. Let's go back to SPY. And really, we're just going to look at just a couple indicators, and I'll show you exactly what I'm looking at. So here's the traditional look here. And is this an expanding move? We can keep an eye on this. So if we do get a larger bounce, I do think we still have potential to get to these this unfinished business, as I usually say, lower. So the big thing that we're going to ask here right now is, do we get a bounce? And then finally maybe close these gaps and get that head and shoulder. Here's the neckline that we've been talking about. This neckline here. All right, close those two gaps. Or do we go directly there? Now we are in a cycle, a timing cycle. So, this could go directly, and this be a bearish week. This could go directly lower. Then going into next week, we get that nice bounce here. Just a dead cat bounce, in my opinion. So real quickly, some of these indicators. The slow stochastic, when we started to go long here, we saw that this was curling up. We're off the lows of RSI right now, but we still haven't gotten that bullish crossover in the MACD, and we still could cycle lower there. So there's a clue that there still could be lower prices to go. Here's a DMARC. No setup here. We had that 9 count exhaustion. We already used that. So no setup at this point. Money flow index gave us a buy signal there. Now, again, this could stay down for a little bit. If we're going to go a little bit lower, we could see some divergence. Could see divergences with lower prices and then higher readings on the money flow index. Bollinger Band, I'm sure this was a setup. Yep, a nice big move down into the bottom of the Bollinger Band, spiked past it with oversold and positive divergence conditions there. So if you bought off there, good job. Just don't know if they'll sustain. Maybe one more move down. Okay, so here's the oscillator. deep in here, but if we go down, if we go lower, we'll likely get a positive divergence. So we'll check that out. Now, here's the thing. Here's what we're looking at. So we're talking about, so the scenario where we get a larger bounce and then go lower is what I have written on here. But let's assume that we continue to this count that we've been looking at for quite some time. Here's wave 3. Okay, so you had your 1, 2, wave 3, an expanded flat for a 4, and you're looking for wave 5. These are all made of 3 waves. It's a leading diagonal. And we had our A. This was a really clear 5-wave move. We had our B, and now this is a funky move here, so that's what's giving us a little bit of trouble. If this would have just came straight down, 5-wave impulse move, boom, easy. The market doesn't want to be that easy, okay? So if we head straight down, then what we're looking for is an ending diagonal here. All right, so this would, of the B wave going into C, we have 1 already in. We're working on wave 2. We get a third wave, and these are probably going to get shorter as they go, as we get into some of these supports. 3, and then 4 will cross over 1, and then 5. Now, we don't know how far that's going to go, but here's some of those targets. We came so far down here. I don't think the 100% here is going to be a low, okay? So I do think this is going to head a little bit lower than this one. I think this is more ideal, where we have our possible neckline. We have confluence of a previous resistance and a fib cluster as well. Now, if price grinds further, we'll have to see what the price gives us. But if it grinds further, then it could come all the way down to 640 here. All right, and then we'll be looking for a significant bounce after that. And so, what would that look like on a traditional look? That would, I'll borrow this line, give us more of a wedge type pattern. And so from here, we'll be forming a wedge. And we haven't quite touched the top of that wedge yet. But if the VIX is correct in saying that today or tomorrow we should have a green day, then that's a good sign. There's 85% chance that we'll have a green day today or tomorrow. And it could do this, a little consolidation by the end of the day. If we turn out green, then be careful, add on your put protection, and look out for a bear move going into NVIDIA earnings and such. So NVIDIA earnings could mark the bottom if that's the case. Now, if we end up red, it's more likely of a chance that we have a green day tomorrow. I think we're going to end up green today. I think that's more likely of a situation since we already had a bounce and we're consolidating, have one move. It doesn't take much. We're not far away, and it's probably waiting till last second for the market to come near to close. And we'll probably, at that point, who knows, gap down or something like that tomorrow. And I would suspect we're not going to get a higher low tomorrow. If that's the case, if we're negative tomorrow, I do think we'll continue lower. But watch out for the crossover waves after that. So that's kind of what we're looking for. If this holds up, we'll look for the end of the day. We already added on some put protection, but then we'll add a little bit more as we rise if we do so. All right. That's what we got for you, the VIX. There's the VIX on 65. May close this gap today. We'll see. But it's holding on to support so far. So maybe it'll just leave us in limbo. We'll see what happens here. All right. Again, looking for a green day today in the market. So if this pulls back just a little bit more, that'll probably give us our green day. So watch the VIX. And I do believe, we talked about this yesterday, but I do believe MJ, we have a couple people following it in our Discord. So make sure you join our Discord. We think this is bottoming out here. And here's your moving averages. We have the 200 moving average. We're technically in a bull market above. And I think it looks really good. I'm really excited about this cannabis market and what it has to offer pretty soon. Now, this isn't a valid trend line. I'm just moving it around to see what holds. Okay. And then IBIT, it's possible that the Bitcoin market, crypto market, I do believe is bottoming here. And I told you, just watch yesterday's video if you want to see exactly the bullish and the bearish situation here. I went into a little bit more detail on how I'm looking at this, but looks like we're in a confluence of support, and we'll go from there. Should be a nice bounce at this point at minimum. All right, thanks for joining us here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.